I want you to imagine for a minute you have 9,332 people on a list that are targeted in your market for what you have to offer. And I want you to imagine being able to write a message and with one click of a button, send it out to 9,332 people. That's exactly what we've been able to do in the past 30 days. We went from 0 to 9,332 emails. So if that sounds like that would be useful to your business, stick around because that's what we're going to cover in this podcast. Well, hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Amazing Seller Podcast. This is episode number 782. My name is Scott Volker, and I'm here to help you build a future-proof business so you can create the ultimate freedom. But, and there's always a but, you have to take what you learn from this podcast and take action, and you can become the amazing seller of your life. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's do this. All right. Well, like I said in the very beginning, I am excited because, well, I'm going to break down exactly how we went from 0 to 9,332 email subscribers, how we have already sent out emails to this list and have gotten a really great open rate and click-through rate and a whole bunch of other cool things that are now happening because we went through this process. And again, like I said in the very beginning, I want you to think about having the reach, having the attention of your market, whether it's 100 people or 500 people or 9,332 people. To me, you have to always remember these are people. These are people that raise their hand, that are in your market. And from there, you need to stay in front of these people. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I already did an update when we were at like 3,000-ish emails. And now what I'm doing here is giving you a final update on this case study. And we did this inside of Brand Creators Academy as part of our brand build. It's been really exciting because I'm actually going to share with you two other examples of two of our members that did the exact same thing following along. And there's other ones that are doing it. They're just not fully done with it yet, but they're in the process. And some people are just starting that process, which is really cool to kind of see this. But I'm going to share with you two other examples, which are very similar, which is pretty cool. And they're in different markets. Every one here that we're talking about, the one that we did it in and the other two members in totally different markets. So you have to understand the components that make this work. And we're going to cover that. All right. But let me just kind of give you a little bit of a recap. The reason why we decided to do this is because, well, we know that if we build an email list, we have instant traffic. And what I mean by that is the minute that we have people, on a list that have raised their hand through what we call a lead magnet, and in this case, it's a giveaway, a bundle that we put together in this market, and then from there, we get their attention. But what we can do now is we have instant traffic because we have them on a list. So all we need to do is send a message to them. Not everyone is going to open the email, but industry standard is typically around 10% of the list will open an email. But here's the thing. Whenever you're looking at those numbers, which we got higher than that, but if you look at the industry standard, it's not always the same 10%. And that's why what we always do, and it's another part of our strategy, is we always send to our unopens about 24 to 36 hours later. And that always gives us an increase, a bump in our open rate. And again, that's something that we break down in great detail inside of Brand Creators Academy. Now, the other thing that this does is, and this is the second part, is where it really allows us to do what we call content amplification. So let's say, for example, we want to get people instantly over to a blog post that we wrote, And on that blog post, we might just give useful information, but we have affiliate links in there. And affiliate links, for anyone that is new, all that is it's a link that we're using to promote another product that we recommend. And if they buy it through that link, we will get credit. We will get a commission on that. And depending on what network you're using, we're usually starting with Amazon because it's super easy. And we can just, lead people over there and then we can get credit for that. But the content amplification piece is huge because when you're starting out, as far as building out your content, building out your brand with content and getting those assets built so we can have traffic for years to come, the hardest part is for people waiting to get that traffic, including myself. We're impatient, okay? But when we have an email list, we can instantly get it there. And the other byproduct of this is we're able to also, through our Facebook page now that we've built, and I'll give you all the numbers here in the rundown, but we're able to then start repurposing our content that resides on our blog and on our website and then sharing it over on Facebook. And then we can direct the traffic, our email list, over to our Facebook page, get that going a little bit more. And then from there, we can also send people to a blog post or if we have a YouTube channel. So there's a lot of things that we can do when we have this asset, this email list. And right now, we're sitting on 9,332 email subscribers, okay, that are in this market. All right. So again, this is exactly what we're doing. And now our original goal, our target was 2,500 emails. Well, we crushed that, as you can see. And we were willing to spend 50 cents to $1 per email. Now, I would not have wanted to spend $9,332 for those emails, even though I know if they're the right people in the right market, I know that will come back and pay me back over time. But we didn't pay near that at all. And I'll give you guys all the numbers here. So our numbers, I'll just jump right into it. Our numbers right now are 9,332 emails, okay? Our open rate right now is over 30%, which is crazy, okay? Now, I do expect that to go down as we send more emails, as we start to clean the list, okay? But right now, having over 30%, I mean, we had one that almost touched 40%, which is crazy. So that's totally fine, okay? 30% is great, all right? And again, just keep in mind that the 30% that opened today doesn't mean that's the same 30% that sent it out or that will open it up in 2 weeks from now or a month from now. So that's why we're always sending on a regular basis. And this is also why I like to follow that 52X content strategy, because what we're doing here in 52X strategy, what that basically means, I did a whole podcast on it, is you want to basically create one piece of new content every week. And that is also your email that you're going to send to your list. All right. So it kind of works hand in hand. All right. So the other cool thing is because we created a Facebook fan page, which I think all brands should have anyway, even though I'm not really using it so much for, I'm going to get a whole bunch of traffic and I'm going to get a whole bunch of reach, which there are ways that we can increase that. But you have to have a Facebook fan page in order to run a Facebook ad. And that's how we drove all of this traffic. Okay. Or I should say most of the traffic, because a lot of it also came from being shared, which I'll talk about here. Okay. So the Facebook page currently right now, when I just pulled these numbers, was 1,734 followers. Okay. And then 1,663 likes. Now there are two different things. I'm not quite sure what it actually means more than, other than a follower means that, hey, I'm clicking this because I want to follow this page. A like just means like, I like this page. So they're two separate things. I think if you can get both of them, I think it makes it better, because then the page is going to reach those people because they've raised their hand twice. All right. But anyway, that's what we got there for those numbers. So really good. Like we didn't really try for that. It just kind of happened. Now there was I'll give you guys a little ninja trick here. And this was actually brought up by one of our members, Todd, who also I'm going to be talking about here in a minute. But he basically, and I've heard about this before, but he reminded us of it. And he was like, anyone that likes your post through your giveaway, your contest, you can go in and then you can invite them to like the page, because they might have liked the post, but they didn't like the page. And we did that. And I bet you we added another 30 or 40% to that. So it might have only been around maybe let's call it like 1,100 or 1,200. We ended up getting 1,700, which is pretty awesome. The Facebook post that we created that was dedicated to our giveaway, our contest, and also was the Facebook ad, was 2,200 likes, emojis, some type of reaction. Okay. That's how Facebook works, right? So that's pretty good. 650 comments. Now, the cool thing is with these comments, a lot of them were just people tagging people. So it was like, maybe it was Sue Allen, and then she just put in a comment, Troy Allen, maybe it was her husband, because she wanted to show that person this contest. So they were just tagging each other in the comments, and then it was bringing it up in their notifications. So a lot of those comments were shares in a sense. Now get this, 979 shares. 979 shares. Incredible. All right. So those are the numbers that we ended up with. Now you probably also want to know, okay, Scott, like what did all of that cost you? Well, I'll give you the rundown. Okay. At the end of the day, we want to know, okay, how much did we spend to get an email address? We're talking the Facebook ads. We're talking the prize, okay? Our prize was $225 because we don't have our own product right now. So we went out and we bought 4 different products and we're shipping it to the winner. So it's $225. And then we also spent on the ads a little over $1,650, okay? So if you do the math there, I mean, we're talking right around 20 cents per email address. Okay, 20 cents, which is just craziness. Okay. And if we look at just the Facebook ad, and I'm actually going to do this on the fly. If we just look at the Facebook ad that we spent on, and if we do that, I'm doing the math, it's 17.6%. Or I'm sorry, cents, 17.6. So let's call it 18 cents. Okay. So 20 cents all in to get a targeted email address that also, by the way, is opening our emails. Not all of them, but 35, 36% already have, which is pretty darn crazy. So right now we're going to go through the process of sending them useful content, sending them over to the blog, sending them over to Facebook, which today, a little side note here, and I wasn't going to share this because I had just did it and I didn't know that I was going to do it when I created this outline for this, for the show of, everything that I wanted to share with you. But I just, on our Facebook page, I asked a general question. Okay. Like for example, if I was in the bass fishing, be like, how long have you been bass fishing? Or how many tournaments have you entered last year? Something like that, right? Just an open-ended question. And I did that this morning while I was drinking my coffee. And I said, I'm just going to see how active the page is and how many people this actually reaches. Well, I told you 1,734 follows on that page. Within minutes, I had like 35 or 40 comments of people telling me that answer or giving me their answer. It was just crazy. I haven't looked since, but I know that that's going to get well over 150 to 200 comments just from me posting on there, asking a question. That's it. So all we're going to do there on that Facebook page is we're going to be putting out content that we're producing, asking questions, getting to really know the market. We're actually going to probably roll out some merch because I think this market will definitely lend itself to merch. So I think we're going to make like 3 to 5 different t-shirts, and I think we're going to put them up there, have the Facebook page vote on it, and probably send an email out to vote on it. Which one should we create? And then from there, we'll try to sell some shirts. And that will be a quick way for us to start monetizing the list, but also monetizing the brand. So anyway, that's just a little bit of a side note. All right. Now, this all might sound great, and you might be saying, well, Scott, that, this sounds great and everything, but I have no idea if my market even lends itself to doing this. And where would I even figure that stuff out? Well, the first place that I would tell you to go to is our free resources at brandcreators.com. Okay. If you go to brandcreators.com, you're going to see a checklist there. It's a brand growth validation checklist, and it's going to run through and really identify your market, see if you're niched down enough, and then from there start to explore all of these things that we're doing inside of building our brand, and building an email list is one of them. All right. Now, the other resource that I would give you, which I think is very useful if you're looking to only start focusing on building an email list, and that is go to our free list building workshop. You can find that by heading over to listbuildclass.com. Again, that's listbuildclass.com. And we'll actually show you how to identify what is the best lead magnet or the giveaway. We'll show you an example. We'll show you how we drove traffic. We'll show you how we set everything up, how we collected the emails, how we did the follow-up, all of that. So definitely go check out that resource. All right, so let me give you another example from one of our Brand Creators Academy members, okay? Now, here's his final results. Just in, off the presses, by the way. He just posted this. His name is Ken, by the way. And so he collected 8,375 emails, okay? Now, actually, it was 8,375 entries, 8,041 emails. And the reason why he's giving that number is because he actually collected an extra, an extra 330-ish, 40-ish emails, because part of the strategy is people that enter the contest will also be enticed to share it. And if they share it with people and they enter their email, then they will, maybe they'll get 3 extra entries, I think is how we set it up. So you incentivize them for wanting to share it. And the way that works is they will go to a landing page, as we call it, that shows everything that they can win in the contest or the giveaway. And then from there, they enter their name and email address. On the next page, we call that the thank you page. It says, congratulations, you have 1 entry. And then it'll say, to get more entries, you can do these things. And one of them is to share it. And anybody that enters, or I think it's 3 people that enter their email will give you 1 extra entry. So something like that. All right. So his total Facebook ad spend was $1,212. So a total cost per email was 16 cents. Okay. 16 cents. Okay. His Facebook post results, and this is pretty awesome, 2,300 likes, 490 comments, and 622 shares. Okay. And this one here is really cool. Over 1,400 new page likes. Okay. Now, the social sharing, this is what I'm reading what he wrote here. The social sharing has added 1,334 entries as well. The difference between ad clicks and actual subscribers. And then he gave a whole list of the top 25 who had the most entries. So that's pretty cool. Okay. He had one person that shared it. Oh my gosh. It looks like, well, it shows that he must have had an email list for a media company, and he sent it out to his email list. Okay, so now I'm going to give you another one. And this is Todd, who's also in our academy, and he still got 10 days remaining. And his Facebook ad entries was 6,916, and he's getting them for 10 cents per result. So every entry is costing him 10 cents. His total ad spend was $666.70. Total entries, 9,108. His prize cost is $188.94. Bottom line cost per result is so far at this time just under 10 cents. Basically, it's 0.093. So just under 10 cents. So let's call it 10 cents, right? That's pretty incredible. Now, social likes, he had 1,800, 431 comments, 547 shares. And he says here, actually more, but I accidentally changed the ad copy when I made the switch. So because of that, he lost the data. So, oh well. But the extra page likes he gained was 451. And a little side note here. Here's something that Todd did that we're going to be doing as well as a test. And we're going to be sharing this inside of the academy. And he shared everything in there, even the email that he wrote. But what he did was he reached out to his list so far, and he asked if anyone was interested in becoming a contributor for the blog through, asking them if they would be willing to write and get paid. And so if you're into this niche, if you're into this hobby or passion, or you're just into this topic, this market, you will probably find out of 9,000 people, there's probably a handful of people that are willing and wanting to write about this. And what better way to have content contributors found but through your own list? So that's another benefit. Because what we're doing is we're out there and we're finding our VAs in a variety of different ways, but this is a great way to do it because they're vested in this market and they love this market. But then the trick is to find out if they're a good writer or maybe they're a good video creator. Who knows? But I will give you an update on that, how that goes here in the future as well. But I'm really excited about that. But Todd broke that down and it worked really, really well for him. He found, I believe he had like 5 or 7 really qualified writers. And then now he's going through, I think 3 of them are doing like test articles. 2 already sent them back. He said 1 was a slam dunk, perfect. And then the other one, he said he might need to just do a little bit of coaching to get them to write a little bit more his style. But yeah, oh my gosh, like incredible. All right. So let me give you some takeaways here and some lessons and what you can do, okay? So number 1, all right, you must know your market because if you do, things become much clearer and the results will follow, just like this. The reason why this has worked so many different times is because when we're doing this, we know who the market is. We know what they want. We know what's going to get them to raise their hand. And that's all we're trying to do right now is get the people in our market to raise their hand so we can then communicate with them on a regular basis through an email. So remember, like I said in the very beginning, we know that these people are in our market because they raised their hand. And right now, I'm not even concerned with them buying something. What I want them to do is visit our content. I want them to be part of that amplification that we talked about because that will also allow us to start getting more traffic. And here's the other thing. Even if they never, ever buy a single thing, when we turn on ads on our website, we will get paid per visit. So every 1,000 people that visit the website, we will get paid. And I talked about that in another episode in the past. It's where you will be paid per 1,000, and it ranges anywhere from $10 per 1,000 up to $25, $28 per 1,000. Okay. So, for anyone that is thinking to themselves, yeah, but I want these people to buy right away. Don't try to push it. Don't try to rush it. Okay. Because the results will come later. And there's a bunch of different ways that you can monetize versus it just being selling a product. All right. So number 1, know your market. And I'm telling you, things will become clearer and easier and the results will follow. Number 2, you need to have a great offer. The reason why people's giveaways or lead magnet doesn't work that well is because they don't have a great offer. I like to have at least $100 value on the giveaway when I'm first starting. Now, I don't think I'm going to always do giveaways throughout the entire life of a brand, right? I don't look at it that way. It's a good way to jumpstart and kind of really inject some traffic immediately. But I'm going to also now start doing typical lead magnets. Like maybe it's going to be maybe a 3-part video series, or maybe it will be an ebook, or maybe it'll be a checklist or a shopping list. We're going to also add those into the mix because they're important. Okay. So, but you do need to have a really, really great offer. Okay. And that offer, when we're doing this, as far as email list building, we need it to be something that they go, wow, that's an amazing thing. I would love to have that. And I can't tell you how many people commented and said, I can't wait. I hope I win. I really love this. This is great. Thank you so much for doing this. So we're also adding goodwill to the marketplace. All right. But you need to have a great offer. It is key to getting these type of results. Okay. But again, I can't say what your market's going to do, or if you're going to be able to get results like this, but it's worth a try. Okay. It's worth a try. All right. So that's number 2, have a great offer. And then number 3, and this one's big as well, targeting. You need to understand where they are hanging out. If your market is hanging out on Instagram, go to Instagram. go and reach out to influencers and ask how much they would charge you to do a post. We actually did this in that workshop that you can go check out and that I mentioned earlier. We actually used Instagram. We used Facebook as well, but we used Instagram mostly on that one because that's where the market was hanging out, okay? And we identified that. This example that I'm sharing with you here today, we didn't use Instagram. We used Facebook. That's where they're hanging out. And so you really want to get precise targeting and know exactly where they are hanging out. And an example of this would be if we were going after the kayak bass fishing market, okay? Number one, we know that they're passionate about this sport, this hobby, right? We know that. Number two, we know that they would love to win the ultimate bundle. And that might be a pole, a net, a tackle box, a vest, and maybe a few special lures, okay? And then number three, we know they're hanging out on Facebook in groups and they're talking. And the reason why is because we did the research. We went through the brand growth validation checklist. So again, if you have not gone through that, here is another mention that you should, because it's free and it's so valuable. So make sure that you do that. Brandcreators.com. Okay, brandcreators.com. Go there, grab that checklist. You're going to also see a couple of videos there. One is me going through 2 live validation examples, walking you through that process, walking you through that checklist. It's free, guys. Go get it. You have nothing to lose. Check it out. All right. So let's wrap this up before we do sign off. All right. Because I think that at this point, you guys can see that having the ability to reach out to over 9,000 people within 30 days, I mean, the value in that. Imagine having 9,000 plus people on an email list that you can write up an email like I did this morning. By the way, I did it actually in 3 different brands, wrote up an email and I pushed send and it went out to as many people that are on that list. And then I'll be able to go back there tomorrow and I can send to the unopens. Okay. And that's the power of having that email list. All right. So number 1, know your market. And I'm telling you, things will become much clearer and way easier and the results will follow. All right. Niche down. Make sure that you niche down. That's another little tip here. Okay. Make sure you're not going too broad. Okay. Number 2, create a great, amazing offer that is irresistible. I can't stress that enough. And number 3, get laser focused on your targeting, whether that's Facebook, whether that's Instagram, or maybe even Pinterest. All right. Find out where your market's hanging out. Go there and get that laser focused targeting that will make this campaign and make you really be able to start understanding what they want, what they need, and then you can show up and give it to them. All right. Now, if you need help identifying these components, like I said, make sure that you go through the brand growth validation checklist. You can find that by heading over to brandcreators.com and you'll find it over there. All right, guys, the show notes to this episode are theamazingseller.com/782. Again, that's theamazingseller.com/782. You'll get the show notes, the transcripts, all the goodies. They'll be linked up there. I'll also link up the brand growth validation checklist. If you haven't went over there and grabbed it, you'll have another reminder to do so there as well. All right, guys. So that's it. That's going to wrap it up. As always, remember, I'm here for you. I believe in you and I am rooting for you, but you have to, come on, say it with me, say it loud, say it proud, take action. Have an awesome, amazing day. I'll see you right back here on the next episode. Hey, before you go, could you do me one quick favor? If you haven't done so already, can you head over to iTunes and could you leave me a review over there? I would really love to hear how this podcast has helped you in one way, shape, or form. And oh, by the way, I read every single one of them. And actually, I'm going to read one right now. And this one came in recently from Josh Christ. And he says, insightful and actionable. And he shows a little flame and says 5 stars. And says, whether you're well-established as an online entrepreneur or just getting started carving out a profitable niche that's ready to grow, this is a must-listen podcast for you. Scott does an incredible job leading conversations that cover a huge breadth of topics related to the ins and outs of building a thriving online business and life you can be proud of. From leaders who've actually experienced success themselves. I highly recommend listening and subscribing. Well, thank you, Josh. I truly appreciate it. And again, if you're listening and you have not left me a review, please leave a review. I'd love to hear from you. Oh, and if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. That way there, you'll never miss an upcoming episode. All right, so thanks once again. I look forward to seeing and reading your review. Until next time, have an amazing day.